The vast, silent expanse of deep space has always been a source of fascination and fear, even for those who've trained for years to venture into it. Astronauts, the modern-day explorers, have seen things up there that defy our earthly understanding. But why does this final frontier still trigger such deep-seated fear, even in the most seasoned of them? What is it about the void that sends shivers down the spines of those who've stared into it? Stick around, because we're about to dive into the chilling reasons why deep space still haunts the dreams of those who dare to explore it. Astronauts undergo rigorous training to prepare for the vast, unforgiving environment of deep space. They practice in simulators, swim in neutral buoyancy labs to mimic weightlessness, and endure isolation in mock spacecraft. Yet, despite these efforts, the reality of deep space often surpasses their preparation. The vastness and isolation are impossible to fully replicate on Earth. Simulators can't capture the sheer scale of the cosmos or the profound loneliness that comes with being millions of miles from home. The training environment is controlled, predictable, and safe. Deep space is none of these things. Consider the psychological impact of truly understanding that you are farther from Earth than anyone else in history. No amount of simulation can prepare an astronaut for that moment. The training might teach them how to fix a malfunctioning life support system, but it can't prepare them for the creeping dread that might come with realizing that system is all that stands between them and the cold, airless void. The illusion of preparation is perhaps most evident in the unexpected emotional responses of astronauts. Many report feelings of overwhelming vulnerability and isolation, despite having trained for years. Moreover, the physical sensations of deep space are unlike anything experienced in training. Weightlessness, while initially exhilarating, can become disorienting and even nauseating. The lack of natural light and the constant hum of machinery create an environment that's both alien and claustrophobic. Astronauts might train for months in a simulator, but the simulator can't replicate the way the human mind and body react to the sheer strangeness of deep space. The illusion of preparation is a necessary one. It gives astronauts the confidence to embark on these missions. But it's important to acknowledge that, despite their extensive training, they are still venturing into the unknown. The vast emptiness of deep space is an inhospitable place, and the sheer scale of it makes any sense of isolation feel overwhelming. Astronauts, even those who have undergone rigorous training, can find themselves grappling with the stark reality of being utterly alone. In low Earth orbit, the International Space Station, ISS, is a mere 250 miles above the planet's surface, a hop and a skip in cosmic terms. Rescue missions are feasible, and communication with Earth is almost instantaneous. But venture further into the cosmos, and the situation changes dramatically. The distance between Earth and Mars, for instance, can vary from about 34 million miles to 250 million miles, depending on the planet's positions. This vast expanse means that any communication between astronauts and mission control is subject to a significant delay. A message sent from Earth to Mars can take between 3 to 22 minutes to reach its destination, depending on the planet's alignment. This delay can make real-time problem-solving impossible and can exacerbate feelings of isolation. The psychological impact of this delayed communication cannot be overstated. On Earth, we are accustomed to instant gratification and immediate responses. A text message sent to a friend is typically answered within seconds or minutes. In deep space, this is not the case. Astronauts must wait for responses, and this delay can create a sense of disconnection. It's not just the delay in communication that triggers fear, it's the realization that help is not just a phone call away. In low Earth orbit, if a critical issue arises, a rescue mission can be launched relatively quickly. But in deep space, the nearest human help could be millions of miles away. This reality can be daunting, even for the most seasoned astronauts. The knowledge that there is no immediate rescue option can weigh heavily on the mind, amplifying feelings of vulnerability and isolation. Moreover, the physical environment of deep space adds to the sense of isolation. The silence and darkness of space are profound. Unlike Earth, where sounds and sights are constant, space is a vacuum, devoid of sound and filled with an endless expanse of stars. This sensory deprivation can be unsettling. Astronauts are trained to cope with these conditions, but the human mind is not naturally equipped to handle such extreme isolation. The lack of immediate human contact can lead to feelings of loneliness and detachment. Even the most extroverted individuals can find the silence and solitude of deep space challenging. The psychological toll of this isolation is a significant concern for space agencies. Studies have shown that prolonged isolation can lead to a range of psychological issues, including depression, anxiety, and cognitive impairments. Understanding and mitigating these effects is crucial for the success of deep space missions. The practical implications of delayed communication are also significant. In low Earth orbit, astronauts can consult with mission control in real time to troubleshoot issues. But in deep space, this is not possible. Astronauts must rely on their training and problem-solving skills to handle emergencies independently. This autonomy can be empowering, but it can also be stressful. The responsibility of making critical decisions without immediate guidance can be overwhelming. The fear of making a mistake and the consequences of that mistake can be a constant source of anxiety. Space agencies are aware of these challenges and are developing technologies to mitigate them. For example, artificial intelligence and advanced communication systems are being explored to provide astronauts with more support in deep space. Despite these efforts, the reality of absolute isolation and delayed communication remains a significant hurdle for deep space exploration. The human brain is wired to interpret and navigate spaces based on familiar reference points. On Earth, these points are abundant: trees, buildings, landmarks, even the horizon. They provide a sense of scale, distance, and orientation. In deep space, however, these reference points vanish. The void is vast, dark, and seemingly endless. This absence of familiar markers can disorient even the most seasoned astronauts, triggering a primal fear response. Without reference points, depth perception becomes unreliable. On Earth, our brains use familiar objects to judge distances. In space, this system breaks down. Astronauts have reported that objects appear to be at varying distances when, in reality, they are stationary. This distortion can make simple tasks, like maneuvering a spacecraft, feel unsettling and disorienting. The brain struggles to make sense of the environment, leading to a sense of unease. The lack of reference points also affects spatial awareness. On Earth, we rely on gravity to understand which way is up or down. In the microgravity of space, this cue is absent. Astronauts have described feeling like they are floating in an infinite, featureless void. This sensation can be profoundly unsettling, as the brain struggles to reconcile the lack of familiar spatial cues. The absence of these reference points can lead to a sense of isolation and vulnerability, even in those who are well-trained and prepared for the challenges of space travel. The vacuum of space is an inherently silent place. Sound waves need a medium, like air or water, to travel through, and space is a near-perfect vacuum, devoid of such mediums. This means that in the depths of space, there's no sound at all. For astronauts, this silence can be profoundly unsettling. On Earth, silence is often a choice, a respite from noise. But in space, it's an inescapable reality, a constant reminder of the vast, empty void that surrounds them. The human brain is wired to be alert to changes in the environment. On Earth, sudden silence can signal danger, like the pause before a disaster. In space, this silence is perpetual. It's not the absence of noise that triggers anxiety, but the constant, unchanging quiet. Astronauts have reported feeling a sense of isolation and vulnerability in the silence. It's as if the silence is amplifying their own thoughts, making them more aware of their solitude. This anxiety is not just psychological. The body reacts to the silence too. Studies have shown that prolonged exposure to silence can increase stress levels. In space, this stress can be compounded by other factors, like the lack of natural light and the constant hum of machinery. Astronauts have described the silence as a pressure, a constant, invisible force that they can feel. It's a reminder of the harsh, unforgiving environment they're in, and it can be a significant source of anxiety, even for the most trained and experienced astronauts. The vast emptiness of deep space can play tricks on the human mind, especially when it comes to our perception of time and distance. Astronauts, even those well-trained and experienced, often report feeling a strange disconnection from the familiar rhythms of Earth. Up there, time doesn't tick the same way it does down here. A few hours can feel like days, or vice versa. This isn't just a minor inconvenience, it's a genuine psychological challenge. The International Space Station, ISS, orbits Earth every 90 minutes, meaning astronauts experience 16 sunrises and sunsets in a single day. This rapid cycle can mess with their internal clocks, making it hard to keep track of time. Distance, too, becomes a baffling concept in space. On Earth, we're used to seeing things get smaller as they move away from us. But in the void of space, objects don't follow the same rules. Stars and planets appear stationary, even though they're hurtling through the universe at incredible speeds. This can create a sense of disorientation. Astronauts have described feeling like they're suspended in a timeless, distance-less void. It's not just the vastness that's unsettling, it's the way it warps our basic understanding of how time and space work. This time distortion isn't just a psychological quirk. It has real, practical implications. Astronauts have to rely on clocks and schedules to stay on track. But when their sense of time is off, even simple tasks can become challenging. NASA has studied this phenomenon extensively. They found that astronauts often struggle with planning and time management during long-duration missions. This can lead to mistakes, fatigue, and even safety issues. The agency has developed various strategies to help astronauts cope, like strict routines and regular communication with mission control. Yet, the challenge remains. Moreover, the altered sense of duration and distance can have emotional impacts. Some astronauts report feeling a sense of isolation and detachment. The vast, timeless expanse of space can make them feel small and insignificant. This isn't just about missing home, it's a profound existential experience. It's one thing to know intellectually that the universe is vast and mysterious. It's another thing entirely to experience that vastness firsthand. For many astronauts, this is one of the most profound and unsettling aspects of space travel. It's a reminder that, despite all our technology and training, we are still bound by the limitations of our human minds and bodies. The vastness of space is a humbling reminder of human fragility. Astronauts, despite their extensive training, often grapple with a profound sense of vulnerability when venturing into the depths of space. This awareness stems from the stark contrast between the delicate human body and the infinite, unforgiving expanse of the cosmos. In the confines of a spacecraft, astronauts are acutely aware of their isolation. Earth, with its life-sustaining atmosphere and resources, becomes a tiny blue dot, a fragile oasis in the vastness of space. This perspective shift can be overwhelming, even for the most seasoned space travelers. The human body is not designed for the harsh conditions of space. Without the protection of Earth's atmosphere, astronauts are exposed to extreme temperatures, radiation, and microgravity. These conditions can have severe effects on the body. Muscles atrophy, bones weaken, and the cardiovascular system struggles to adapt. Even the simplest tasks, like eating or sleeping, become challenging in microgravity. Astronauts must rely on sophisticated life support systems to survive. A malfunction in these systems can be catastrophic. This dependence on technology underscores the fragility of human life in space. Moreover, the psychological impact of space travel cannot be overlooked. The isolation and confinement of a spacecraft can lead to feelings of claustrophobia and anxiety. Astronauts are cut off from the familiar comforts of Earth, including social interactions and natural environments. This isolation can take a toll on mental health. The vastness of space can also induce a sense of insignificance. Astronauts often describe feeling tiny and insignificant when looking out at the endless stars. This existential dread can be overwhelming, even for those who have spent years preparing for the journey. Despite these challenges, astronauts continue to venture into deep space. Their courage and resilience are a testament to the human spirit. They push the boundaries of what is possible, driven by a desire to explore and understand the universe. Yet, the awareness of their vulnerability remains a constant companion. It is a reminder of the delicate balance that sustains life and the immense challenges that lie ahead in the exploration of space. The vastness of deep space has a profound impact on the human psyche, even for those who have undergone rigorous training. Fear is a common reaction, often stemming from the sheer scale and isolation of the environment. Astronauts report feeling overwhelmed by the infinite expanse, which can trigger a primal sense of vulnerability. This fear is not just about physical dangers but also about the unknown. The cosmos is filled with mysteries that science has yet to unravel, and this uncertainty can be deeply unsettling. For instance, the silence of space, broken only by the hum of equipment, can create an eerie atmosphere that heightens feelings of unease. Panic, though less common, has been documented in extreme situations. The sudden failure of a critical system or an unexpected encounter with space debris can induce a fight-or-flight response. Astronauts are trained to handle emergencies, but the high-stakes environment of deep space can amplify stress levels. The lack of immediate help or the ability to quickly return to Earth adds to the intensity of these moments. For example, during a spacewalk, a small malfunction can escalate quickly, leading to a surge of adrenaline and panic. The confined space of a spacecraft can also contribute to feelings of claustrophobia, further exacerbating the situation. Existential dread is perhaps the most profound emotional reaction experienced by astronauts. Gazing upon the Earth from afar can evoke a deep sense of insignificance. The realization that our planet is just a tiny speck in the vast cosmos can be humbling and unsettling. This feeling is often described as the overview effect, a cognitive shift in awareness reported by some astronauts. It can lead to a profound reflection on one's place in the universe and the fragility of human existence. For some, this dread is temporary and fades with time, while for others, it lingers, shaping their perspective on life and their role in the grand scheme of things. The isolation and distance from loved ones can also contribute to this existential dread, making the experience even more intense. The vast, infinite nature of deep space is a stark contrast to the familiar, comforting environment of Earth. This stark contrast triggers primal instincts that have been ingrained in humans since the dawn of time. These instincts are deeply rooted in our survival mechanisms, which have evolved to keep us safe from the unknown and the unpredictable. In the vast emptiness of space, astronauts are confronted with an environment that is fundamentally different from anything they have experienced on Earth. This environment is not just physically different, but also psychologically challenging. The absence of familiar landmarks, the silence, and the isolation can all contribute to a sense of disorientation and unease. This is not just a fleeting feeling, but a deep-seated fear that can be difficult to shake off. The human brain is wired to detect and respond to threats. This is a survival mechanism that has been honed over millions of years. In the context of deep space, the brain perceives the environment as a threat, even if the astronaut is fully trained and prepared. This is because the brain is not just responding to immediate, physical threats, but also to the subconscious understanding that the environment is fundamentally different and potentially dangerous. This is why the fear never disappears, even for the most experienced astronauts. It is a primal response that is deeply ingrained in our psyche. Moreover, the lack of control in deep space can also trigger primal fears. On Earth, we are used to having a certain degree of control over our environment. We can influence our surroundings, and we have a sense of agency. In deep space, this sense of control is greatly diminished. Astronauts are at the mercy of their spacecraft and the vast, unpredictable environment of space. This lack of control can be deeply unsettling, triggering primal fears of helplessness and vulnerability. It is a reminder that, despite our technological advancements, we are still subject to the whims of nature and the unknown. This is why the fear of deep space is not just a fleeting feeling, but a deep-seated, primal response that can be difficult to overcome. So, there you have it. The vastness of deep space, the isolation, the unknown. It's no wonder even the most trained astronauts feel a touch of fear. It's not just about the science, it's about the human experience. The stars are calling, but they're also a reminder of how small we are and how much we still have to learn. But here's the thing, every fear we face, every challenge we overcome, brings us one step closer to understanding the universe a little better. And who knows? Maybe one day, you or someone you know will be the one stepping out there, pushing the boundaries of what we know. If you found this fascinating, make sure to like and subscribe for more mind-bending explorations of space and the human spirit. And if you have any questions or thoughts, drop them in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep looking up. The universe is waiting.